All right, I'm here with David Young from Nintendo to talk all about the 3DS. First off, not too much has been said about 3DSware. Is that going to be around the launch time, or are there going to be further announcements before the system comes out, or what?
Well, you know, we did say that there's going to be an online shop, so there will be 3DSware that people will be able to purchase. We'll have more announcements around launch, but we did talk about the Virtual Console.
Yes.
So we're actually going to have Game Boy Color games that you'll be able to download from the online store. So that's pretty exciting.
Will there be more than just Super Mario Land and Link's Awakening DX at launch, or are those the only two that we could expect on launch day?
You know, I'm not really sure everything that's coming out in launch window. We're just talking about the two games right now, but just like we did with a Virtual Console on the Wii system, you can expect updates.
Yeah, that launched with like 12 games, I think.
Yeah, so you can expect there'll be updates on a regular basis. So we're going to try and bring everyone's favorite games to Nintendo 3DS.
Do you think there's any possibility of seeing other Nintendo handhelds, like namely, I guess, Virtual Boy and Game Boy Advance games, ever coming to 3DS or the 3DS Virtual Console?
You know, I haven't heard of any plans for it, so I don't have anything. I don't have anything insight to share with you. But you never know. I mean, it's certainly possible.
And also, with the Game Boy Virtual Console games, will there be any kind of like the borders present in the Super Game Boy or Game Boy Color, like I guess upgrades when you would put an original Game Boy game into a Game Boy Color? Will there be any of those upgrades, or is it just the original game?
It's going to be true to the original game. So, I mean, the Game Boy, of course, and Game Boy Color had a square screen, so the games will appear, in the original format.
And also at E3, there was the Nintendo Classic Collection demo that showed off a lot of original Nintendo and Super Nintendo games with 3D effects. And I believe that was commented on later, I think at the Japanese event for 3DS back in September. Do you have anything to say about that? Will those be on the downloadable shop, or would we see like a retail release with a collection of those games?
Yeah, I don't have anything to share on that at this point, but be sure and check out Nintendo.com or other news sources, your website, of course, for yeah, there you go, Nintendo World Report. We'll let you know as soon as we have more information to share.
And as far as the 3D effects of the system, have you personally felt any eye fatigue from playing the system?
I have not, and I've sat down with it for long periods of time. I think with any 3D, people are going to kind of have to judge where they like that 3D effect. The great thing is, though, is you have the 3D slider, so you can really tailor it to what feels most comfortable for you.
And as far as Nintendo saying that the system is not suitable for anyone under the age of 6, and then having a bunch of doctors come out and say that that's not entirely true, how do you feel on the issue? And do you think it's more Nintendo just trying to cover all their bases as opposed to thinking that it will damage kids under 6?
Well, there's some medical reports on both. There's medical reports on both sides of the fence. Since the jury is still out on that, Nintendo just thinks it's the right thing to do to have that information out there for people.
And also, just in general, how do you feel about this event so far? Do you think it's been a success, and what have been some of your favorite games and titles that are being shown?
This has been really great. It's great when we are able to share some of the things we're working on with the public. So in that aspect, it's been a fantastic event. Me personally, some of the games that I really like is I really like Steel Diver and Pilot Wings Resort are my favorites. And then I also got a chance to play a little bit more of the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. And I really like the way that some of the motion controls are put into that game. Did you try that?
Yeah.
So for instance, when you're aiming the boomerang, you can aim by moving around physically to back and forth and up and down. Really cool effect. It adds something to what I feel is the best game ever.
And now, I guess not really me personally. I'm really excited for Ocarina of Time 3D, but we've had other people on the staff and community, I guess, being a little disheartened that it's just a port of a 3DS or a port of a 13-year-old game that has been re-released on Virtual Console and on GameCube. How do you feel about that, and what do you think Ocarina of Time 3D brings to the table to, I guess, win those fans over?
Yeah, first of all, a lot of people consider The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time to be the best video game ever. So if you're starting there, if that's your starting point, not a bad place to start. But I think in general, the 3D effects really draw you in a whole new way. And the way that there's new elements, like the way that you use motion to aim, also is a new element to that game. Personally, I haven't played that game for a while, so I'm looking forward to experiencing it again. Yeah, on 3D.
Yeah.
And if you and I think the same thing, I can't see why that can't be the popular opinion.
And as far as the, I guess the retail initiative that Reggie talked about during the conference today, with having, I guess, 3DS units at retail places and also having like people taking to the streets, how exactly is that going to be executed, and when should we expect that to start happening?
Well, you know, we're going to have some more plans to share on that really soon. But in general, the thing about Nintendo 3DS is you have to really see it to believe it. It doesn't come across in pictures. It doesn't come across on video. So we want to find a way to get this into the hands of as many people as possible, so that so people can really experience what this great 3D effect is like.
Do you think doing anything along the lines of Nintendo World that happened in Japan the other week would work, or is that why you're doing, I guess, more of the, I guess, spread out version of that with going to different stores across the country?
Well, you know, the U.S. market is very different. I mean, we have such a large country. We have to do things in a different way. So we've got a way to to work this out and to make sure that people get to experience it, get your eyes on it. You know, the thing I think that once you see it, you're going to want it, because Nintendo 3DS is, like Reggie said, a category of one. Yeah. There's really nothing like it, and you got to see it to believe it.
And also with Spot Pass and Street Pass, a lot of like the tag mode features of DS, like especially Dragon Quest IX. I know me personally, outside of going to things like New York Comic Con or PAX, I wouldn't really find anybody to, I guess, connect with. Do you think that how 3DS is handling Spot Pass and Street Pass is going to solve that, and how do you think it will?
Well, you know, we've got a lot of things to encourage people to carry Nintendo 3DS with them everywhere. You know, not only Street Pass, but also that there's a pedometer in it, so you can earn coins, you know, by taking steps. We think that some of those things will encourage people to have it with them, and then also the idea with Street Pass is that you can have multiple titles set up for Street Pass, and you don't have to have the game in and turned on. So any game that you're using can be set up for Street Pass, even if that game is not in the system. We think that those kinds of ways to approach it are going to make it a lot more of a popular feature.
Cool. And I think we heard, is there any kind of limit to the amount of games you can have active for Street Pass at one time?
You know, I've heard there's a limit. I'm not sure what the number is, so I can't give you a number.
Something like 12, but I'm not 100% sure.
It may be. I believe there's a limit. I don't know exactly what that is, but we can find that answer for you and let you know. There is a limit, but it is pretty broad, the number of games that you can have active in Street Pass.
And also, as far as these play coins, which I think was touched on a little bit today, how exactly are they going to work with the system's infrastructure and also with the games that come out?
Well, the play coins you're going to get by taking steps. So as you carry this around with you, you're going to...
Personal trainer walking, but for the whole
Similar,
system.
yeah. And you're going to earn play coins. And then developers can integrate that into their own games to figure out, you know, what they can unlock by users exchanging play coins.
So it's kind of like Nintendo's version of achievement points.
A little bit, right? I mean, it's similar in some aspects, but our own unique take on it.
And also with the online, from what Reggie spoke about this morning, it seems like there might be some sort of friends list that you can activate. And also with the friend codes, if I heard this correctly, just to clarify, you can exchange your information wirelessly with someone locally, and then you get their friend code for online?
Yeah. For instance, if you sit down with a friend and you play with them head-to-head, you can exchange friend codes automatically that way. You can also input them by putting in digits, similar like we've done with Wii and Nintendo DS. But the great news is, you only have to exchange your friend codes once. It's hardware specific, so you don't have to exchange codes for individual games. In addition, there's a great feature where you can have a friends list. You can tell which of your friends are online and what they're playing. So you can instantly jump into a game with them, you know, as soon as you notice that they're online. It's a great feature.
All right, well, I'm really excited. It's coming out on March 20. The 3DS is coming out on March 27th for $249.99, and I'm really excited for it, and I can guess you are too.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love sharing this stuff with the public and with everyone out there. And like I said, you know, you got to see it to believe it, so make sure to get out there and take a look.
All right, thank you.